Alright, my friends, how are we? As always, I'm Dave, and I'm from MMYAY. Alright, today we're going to look into the main event on Saturday night, which is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Rory the Red King McDonald. Pretty exciting fight, both very technical fighters. This has all the makings to be huge. I think most of the mixed martial arts world is looking forward to this one. So I thought we'll get into breaking it down a little bit for you. So just briefly, this is a welterweight bout. It's the first fight for Rory. In nearly a year after he fought Robbie Lawler at UFC 189. That was for the welterweight title. That finished up in the 5th round with the victory to Robbie Lawler. Wonderboy has already fought this year, so with Stephen Thompson, Wonderboy. He fought Johnny Big Rig Hendricks, who is a former welterweight champion, and he knocked him out. Well, managed to stop him. It was a TKO stoppage in the first round of February this year. So I just want to go over a few things I've noticed from each of the guys' last fights and how it may help or may hinder their attempts to, I guess, end up looking at a title shot, or I guess another title shot in Rory's case, or at least get them within one, maybe two victories away of really of getting that shot against whether it's Robbie Lawler or maybe Tyrone Woodley. Alright, so the easiest fight to start with, well, at least the one that drew me in, was Thompson's fight with Patrick Cote back at UFC 178 in September 2014. I think I was mainly drawn to this fight because Patrick Cote is fighting Cowboy, and that fight's directly before the main event, and it's interesting to see how Wonderboy was taken to decision. Well, with most of Wonderboy's wins, they've been via finish, and his style certainly leads itself to this method of victory. Thompson incorporates a leaning, heavy front leg style. It's a karate stance, and he leans most of his weight on his front leg and uses that as a base to whip his kicks coming from his back leg. From this position, he's able to rip roundhouse kicks with maximum torque, and he's also able to chop at his opponent's legs. But interestingly, and I think this will be a big point in this upcoming fight, Wonderboy wasn't throwing a lot of leg kicks in that fight against Patrick Cote. And Rory historically doesn't throw a lot of leg kicks either. And both men don't check leg kicks very often. Something I did notice in the Cote fight was Wonderboy absorbed 30-odd leg kicks and checked maybe 15% of them, if that. I believe Rory will be looking to throw a lot more leg kicks than usual, and if Thompson doesn't check these, it will weaken that front leg. And it will also lend to McDonald's takedown attempts. Thompson, however, frequently changes stances, which should help to spread out the damage. However, it could be mitigated entirely with the conscious efforts to simply check more kicks. And I'm calling for both fighters to check more kicks. I think that's going to be very important. Thompson has solid takedown defense up against the cage, but in the center of the octagon, McDonald should win in a scramble situation. Thompson also wasn't able to chain together too many combos against Cote. It was really one and in and out. But he was able to land a front kick to the body where he slides back out of danger regularly, and he was able to throw this again and again. And Patrick Cote really didn't have an answer for this. And this really helped Thompson out with his body work. Thompson throws a lot of shots to the body. This is never a bad thing. In that kick, he was absorbing very minimal damage. He was coming in, coming out. It's just the way Thompson fights. He always shows patience, and he's always looking to fight the more technical fight. He's using his angles, he's using his speed to jump in and out in a point karate style, and he utilizes his slightly off timing. He's not crazy weird. He's not a Dominic Cruz breathing kind of guy, but he's slightly off. It's slightly unconventional. But when taken to deep waters against a brawler, his timing could potentially be thrown off quite easily. I don't see it as really set, and I see that as something as well that Rory McDonald will be looking to exploit. But if he's unable to, then he'll definitely get beaten with that strange timing. And in the fight where Thompson was fighting Cote, he was able to rock him in the last 2 minutes of the fight. He was nearly able to capitalise, but the 15 minutes ended up being up, and it ended up being a decision. So I watched this fight twice, and I watched that near knockout, and I'm not sure exactly what this means. I mean, Kote is a tough fighter, and before he's dropped down to welterweight, he was a top contender at 185 before he blew his knee out in a fight against Anderson Silva. So, I mean, we can look at this. Thompson's fighting a tough guy. Thompson has fought tough guys. Both guys have fought very tough guys, which I think is what makes it so interesting. But then when you look into Wonderboy's next two fights, which are against Jake Ellenberger and Johnny Hendricks, they set more of a tone for how he's wound up in this fight against Rory, for some would say a number one contender's position at welterweight. I myself would be one to stipulate that's where he's ending up too. But I mean, both fights, Wonderboy was able to keep distance and establish his jab early on. He really utilising that hand speed. I mean, Wonderboy showed one good takedown defense early in the fight against Hendricks, but against Ellenberger, he was faced with disaster when he was hurt and dropped in the second minute against Jake. But the great thing to take from the Ellenberger fight shows the tenacity of Wonderboy as he recovers. He takes the back of Jake, a position most are not familiar with. Wonderboy is not well known for his ground game, but obviously he's happy to go there if that's what he needs to do. And he rides Ellenberger's back for a minute, maybe even longer, and he keeps landing shots from behind in that bear hug position. Through doing this, he not only allows himself to recover, and he's able to recover almost 100%. I mean, you're never 100% after getting rocked, but he looks great again. But he also was able to establish his dominance in the fight, which is a crazy outcome when you think of 2 minutes ago he was hurt and he was knocked down. And this is where Wonderboy's spinning kicks come into play, and they'll most certainly be lights out for Rory McDonald if he's unable to adjust and avoid these strikes. Now, no one's doubting Wonderboy will be looking to stand and trade, and McDonald will be looking to walk him down, obstruct his timing and his angles, and then look for the takedown to establish dominance and ground and pound his way to victory. Against Jake Ellenberger, Thompson threw the same kick twice. He threw the spinning back kick off his right leg from an Orthodox stance. The first stunned Ellenberger, and nearly finished him, and then he was able to get enough distance and execute the same again. Against Hendricks, it was a spinning back kick as well, but just before he was able to switch his stance. So this spinning back kick came off his left leg because he was in the southpaw stance, and that was what spelt the end for Hendricks as he had shots rained down upon him against the cage afterwards. So he can definitely switch stances, and he's shown that spinning back kick, which has definitely been a secret to success for our Wonderboy in his fights. He can pull it from both sides. And it can definitely put McDonald out. But when Rory McDonald fought Tarek Saffiedine, so to get into a Rory McDonald fight now, he fought Tarek Saffiedine at Fight Night in October 2014. His modus operandi was coming out in an orthodox stance, pushing forward, pushing the action, and threatening to take down. He was consistently throwing his jab. He was trying to set a rhythm. He was trying to establish his range, and he was certainly avoiding the range of Tarek Saffiedine. Interestingly, Rory will have the reach advantage against Wonderboy, so he will be able to come out, establish that range, establish that jab, try and get that rhythm going. So then in the second round, the first round was much for much. It was almost a draw. I think you'd give it to Rory, but it was pretty tight. Rory was able to open up a lot more in the second. This seems to be the case in a lot of his fights, and as he warms up, he throws a lot more combinations. However, his focus is on keeping range, and towards the end of the second round, McDonald lands a counter uppercut. And that went straight to the chin of Saffiedine, and that knocked him out cold. Right, so this is definitely going to be a key for Rory. He wants to keep his rhythm, keep his range out, use his slight reach advantage, whereas Wonderboy is going to be looking to come in a lot more, jump in, jump out, that point karate style. This second round aspect where Rory seems to warm up also appeared in Rory's fight with Tyrone Woodley, who's challenging Robbie Lawler next month for the title. Rory seems to take a round to warm up. feels like a month though. But once he does, he's as dangerous as anyone in the UFC. I mean, I was talking about Wonderboy's kicks earlier, but Rory can throw a mean question mark kick that goes low and comes up high, and that allows him to mix up his strikes, focusing on variation that allows him to compensate if he is a slightly slower fighter, like he was against Tyrone Woodley, and he was able to take that one to a decision as well. McDonald's ground game is on point though, whether on offense or defense. And as I was going through the fights to work out where I stand, I noticed that McDonald was able to stop 20 out of 22 takedown attempts in his fight against MMYAY. He went on to win that fight by decision in a fight of the night performance. And I mean, what makes that more impressive is, I mean, we just watched MMYAY have his way with Matt Brown a few weeks ago. And MMYAY is an absolute master on the ground. But both fighters have amazing fight IQ. And I think this is what makes it such an interesting fight. Both fighters are also, they fight very tall, they're very long. I mean, Rory has that reach advantage. It's only an inch, but it is an advantage. I mean, Rory will be looking to turn the fight into a brawl, i.e. his last fight against Lawler. And Wonderboy will be looking to move freely, in and out with his heavy karate stance, heavy on that leg, in and out. I don't think this fight will go the distance, especially not over 5 rounds. I mean, Rory's going to be pushing the pace in, and we're going to have Wonderboy coming in and out. There's a lot of chance for counters. There's someone to get clipped very quickly. I mean, it's just too easy for Wonderboy to kick Rory in the chin. With one of those spinning kicks, or Rory to clip Wonderboy while his hands are down too low. Wonderboy keeps his hands down very low, down by his side in that stance, and he's coming in and out. And one can see Rory with his reasonably quick hand speed being able to cop him on the chin. But both fighters are extremely technical, and this is a super hard fight to predict. And I mean, I'm only predicting because I feel like I should, because you've come this far and watched. But I don't think anyone's going to bet the house on this one. But I think McDonald is going to be able to take Thompson down in round 3 and ground and pound for the finish. I think Thompson will win the first round, because I think Rory will warm up again. He seems to need that first round to really get going, and I mean that certainly helps in a 5-round fight as well. Having 5 rounds does help when you seem to almost give that first round to your opponent, or at least the first half of the first round. And I think this will be the most dangerous time for Rory, when he isn't quite there. When Thompson comes out like a bat out of hell, he also is establishing that jab. He wants to be there, and he wants to push the action from the start, in and out, trying to get that point karate style going. I mean, Thompson by KO in the first is far from unlikely, but I think Rory will pick up momentum in the second and secure a takedown early in the third for the victory. So I mean, I think if Rory can get through the first round, warm up, keep his chin tucked, and dodge a few of those spinning kicks, I highly expect Wonderboy to be throwing those spinning back kicks from the first bell. I mean, it's one of his main weapons, and it's definitely a weapon that can lead him to victory, and has led him to victory over his last few fights. But I mean, in any event, obviously I'm excited for this fight, and it's not long till we find out what happens on Saturday night. So, you know, will Thompson win first round with that knockout? Will Roy pick the game up in the second? Will he be able to take him down the third? I think Roy will take him down, but I don't think it'll be the first attempt either. I think that's a really interesting thing, and I nearly skipped over that. Thompson has great takedown defense up against the cage. He's shown that, and in the scramble, he's no joke. I just don't think he's at the same level that McDonald is. But we'll soon find out. It's not too long till the fight. It's on Saturday night, so make sure you watch that one, and make sure you keep tuning into MMYAY and my videos. But in the meantime, and obviously got a couple of days to the fights, if you've enjoyed what you've been watching and you know the effort I put into these videos, make sure you like and subscribe. So you can follow us on YouTube. You'll always get the updates that way. Check out MMYAY.com. It's got a catalogue of all the videos on there, more interesting stuff, articles I write, opinion pieces, etc. Check us out on Facebook, or add me on Twitter, @DaveMMYAY. And I mean, if you've missed that, or you want to kind of check it out, get more details, all the details are just in that window, just below down where the title is. But until next time, my friends, thank you for tuning in. It's never too far away till I see you again. I wish you all the best. Thank you.